Okay, guys, we will start. Now, here we will discuss about Attorney General. Okay, so I will discuss about this Attorney General and CAG also, Comptroller and Auditor General, briefly, and then we will move to Parliament and we will discuss about Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and with that we can stop today and then we will continue from tomorrow. Okay, Supreme Court, High Court, the judiciary part. Yesterday, I don't. What topic we covered yesterday? We discussed about. Yeah, we were talking about different types of government: minority government, coalition government, cabinet, council of ministers. Right? We were with council of ministers. So we are going in that order. We discussed about president, and then we have discussed about vice president, and we have discussed about COM. So in COM, we have discussed about various, cabinet, and then ministers of state and deputy ministers, and then shadow cabinet. We have discussed, right? Minority government, interim government, caretaker government. We have also discussed about discretionary power of president, which we have missed out. Okay, so like some miscellaneous areas we have covered yesterday, but that anyway, I will update the video today or tomorrow. Okay, guys. So here, what we will do is we will discuss about the Attorney General of India. Okay, so just write one line over there. He is the first law officer of the government of India. The first law officer. So what is his main role? His main role is basically to advise the government of India on legal matters. Okay, so if you see 1833 Charter Act, okay, 1833 Charter Act, till then the Governor General of India, along with him, the council have 3 members. Okay, but in 1833, you will see 1 member will be added to the executive council, and plus 1, it will become 4. So what was that new member which was added? That member which was added was law member. What was his duty? His duty was to advise the Governor General in matters of law. Okay, so law member, and the first law member was Lord Macaulay. Similar to that, here the role of Attorney General of India is basically to advise the government of India, okay, in matters of law. So he will represent the government of India in any cases. Okay, so he will only represent the union, or he can represent the state also. He can represent union as well as the state. Can he represent any private party? Or when he is an attorney general of India, can he represent any private party? Like, for example, can he take any one of your case? He's actually not a government officer. Okay, so he is appointed by Attorney General, and he is mainly advising the government. So when he is Attorney General of India, Advocate General also will discuss. So that is at the state level, but Attorney General, he can take private cases. Okay, so he can practice privately, separately, provided the opposite party should not be government or the state government or union government or the government agencies. So that is the only condition. It doesn't matter. It is not prohibiting him from practicing privately. He can take up the private cases also. Like you see the Solicitor General, who will come under Attorney General. Even though Attorney General is there in the constitution, but the lower level, Solicitor General and all, constitutional recognition is not there. Statutory bodies which was created later, you can see these people are practicing privately, like Tushar Mehta and all, right? They can take up the private cases, provided that the government should not be the other party. So if you see most of the cases, it's like versus state of Madras versus state of Kerala versus state or Union of India, right? All criminal cases, who is the opposite party? The opposite party in all the criminal cases is actually state only. So obvious limitation is there, but between 2 private parties, if there is a case, then he can take. Okay, so only thing is that the opposite party should not be the government. Okay, so just write one line. He's the first law officer. Who appoint him? Appointed by the president. Okay, so appointed by the president and holds office during the pleasure of the president. Just right, appointed by the president, holds the office during the pleasure of the president. But guys, I've already told you, when I say the pleasure of the president, it is ultimately whose pleasure? It is the pleasure of the PM or the Council of Minister headed by the Prime Minister. So on the advice of Council of Minister or PM, only president appoint him, right? So effectively who is appointing the Attorney General? It is a PM or the Council of Ministers. So that is why, if you remember yesterday, I've told you that as when we discussed about this conventions, one of the convention what we have discussed, when this Council of Ministers is dissolved, automatically the Attorney General will resign. Why? He is appointed actually by the PM for advising this government, and automatically when the next government will come into power, or when the next Council of Ministers are formed, they will appoint their own Attorney General for advising them. Very rare that the same Attorney General will be continued or will be appointed by the new Council of Ministers, right? So that is what I've told you as per convention. Even though yesterday some of you were asking about this, and I've clarified it yesterday itself, he is appointed by the president and holds office during the pleasure of the president. But when I say the pleasure of the president, it is the pleasure of the prime minister. Okay, so, and there are no other separate rules or anything with respect to the office of Attorney General. That is why he can be removed also, because as long as the PM is not there or the PM is changed, the new PM can change simply, right? There is no other rules or anything with respect to the continuation or the office of Attorney General. So he holds office during the pleasure of the president, and you can write over there, as per convention, when the Council of Ministers dissolve or the new government comes, automatically this Attorney General will be resigned, and the new government will appoint their own new person, right? Because they need to get the legal advice, so they will appoint a person who's more convenient or more suitable for that government. It is very rare that the same Attorney General will be continued. I hope you got the point. Okay, now what is the duties? Just write the duty. Okay, what is the qualification? He should be qualified to be a Supreme Court judge. Okay, so qualification is, and what is the qualification of Supreme Court judges, High Court judges, etc. I'll discuss in detail when it comes to judiciary. Right now, you just write the qualification as same as that of a Supreme Court judge. He should be qualified to be a Supreme Court judge. That's the qualification. Okay, now the duties. Duties of AG, just write AG only. He advises the Government of India in legal matters. Yes, we have written that. Represent both union and state before the courts. He represents both union and the states before the courts. Write one more line there. He is allowed to take private practice. This is where some of you might have the confusion. He is allowed to take private parties, and put a star over there so that there is no need to have confusion. It is clear. Okay, he is allowed to take private practice provided other party is not the state or government. Okay, so guys, if he is allowed to take private party, means is he a government employee or is he a government servant like a civil servant or any other government employee? No. Okay, so if he is not such government servant, can he be given a salary? No, right? So is there any salary? There is no salary given to Attorney General. Then what is he getting? He's getting something like a retainer, which will be fixed by the president, and it should be similar to the salary of the Supreme Court judge. So what salary he is getting? He is not getting a salary, but he is getting a retainer. Why he is not getting a salary? Because he is not a government employee. Okay, so, or he is not a government servant. He is also taking the private practice. He is allowed to take the private practice. So he is getting a retainer, which will be fixed by the president, but it should be similar to the salary of the Supreme Court judge. So his qualification is similar to the Supreme Court judge. What he is getting is similar to the salary of the Supreme Court judge. Remember, guys, he's also getting the privileges as that of MPs as well. Okay, he can take part in the parliamentary proceedings and all without a right to vote. That means he get the privileges of an MP on one side, and on the other side he get a retainer, which is amount to similar to the Supreme Court judge also. Okay, so just write that he is not paid salary, but a retainer determined by the president, equivalent to the salary of the Supreme Court judge. Okay, one more line. He have the right to audience in any court of India. Any court of India, you have the right to audience, and can take part in parliamentary proceedings, parliamentary committees without right to vote. Okay, so one more line you can write. He get privileges and immunities as MPs. Okay, So when Attorney General is there, can government go with some other lawyers also? Yes, government can go with some other lawyers also. Okay, so he is not even a full-time counsel also. So just write one more line over there. As per convention, after the change of government, Attorney General resigns and the new government appoint their own AG. Okay, he's not a member of cabinet and he's not a government servant. Okay, so maybe one more line you can write. His office is considered as office of profit. That means we have discussed in some area you should not hold office of profit when it comes to election of president, vice president, etc. We have discussed, right? So that means Attorney General cannot contest the election as president. Like his office is considered as office of profit. So when he is in that position, he cannot contest those kinds of election. Okay, so his office is considered as office of profit. So what is constitutionally recognized? The Attorney General of India, recognized by the Constitution, right? Then what about Solicitor General of India? Solicitor General coming under Attorney General. Okay, so it is statutory offices, the Solicitor General and all, and then under that also you will see additional Solicitor General and all, like that we will see. But this is, yeah, basically to assist. Okay, so that is why it is coming under that. So Attorney General, the basic facts, what is required to know, that is enough, guys. But remember, his office is considered as office of profit. Second point, which I want you to remember is he can take the private practice as well. Okay, and he's not a government servant. And he's not getting a salary. Rather, he's getting a retainer, which will be fixed by the president. And that should not be less than. Contempt of court means there are many ways it can. Okay, you're on mute. Okay. So contempt of court means there are many ways in which contempt of court will come. For example, if there is a case against government of India and some party X, okay, and this party X got an order in favor of him, and the court is asking the government of India to implement this order, and the government of India is not implementing this order, then it is contempt of court. He can challenge that. But what is then obviously the contempt of proceedings will be taken care on behalf of the government of India by Attorney General. So next one, CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General. Okay, Comptroller and Auditor General. Part 5 again. So he's considered as guardian of public purse. Just write one line. Considered as guardian of public purse. Who's the guardian of the Constitution?
Supreme Court.
Okay, Supreme Court or President. It is a Supreme Court. Okay, guardian of Constitution is the Supreme Court, not the President. If you have any confusion, that has to be over. Okay, so Comptroller and Auditor General is considered as the guardian of public purse. What is his job? As its name indicate, basically to audit the account of union and states. Okay, will he audit the account of only union and states? No, anywhere some significant funding of government is there, any significant government funding is there, that will be audited by Comptroller CAG. Okay, and the PSUs audited by CAG. So just write there, audit the accounts of union and the states. You don't want to write why it is and all, basically to make it sure that the amount will be spent based on the procedures and proper sanction and competent authority sanctions and everything is required. This ensure that is why he is auditing. But just mention he audit the account of union and states, also comma PSUs. Okay. UTs. But he audit the account of UTs again as part of Government of India only, Union of India only. UTs, PSUs, or any other, right in this way, or any other body substantially financed by union or the state. Any other body, even it can be a private body also, if it is substantially financed by the union or state. Okay, so where he submit the audit report of the union before the president, and he laid it before the parliament. Similarly, in the context of state, it will be before the governor. So just write one line. He submits the audit report of union to the president, who causes the report to be laid before the parliament. So CAG to president to parliament. Okay. Similarly, CAG to governor to state legislature. So CAG will submit its report to the president, will present it to the parliament. Similarly, here governor to the state legislature. One more line. He is considered to be the officer of parliament and ears and eyes of public account committee. Public account committee, various committees, if it is required, I'll discuss in the chapter of parliament. Okay, now who's appointing him? President appointing him. Okay. Guys, most of the appointments at the union level will be done by the president. Even like the All India Service Officers, who's appointing? When you become IAS IPS officer, who will sign your appointment letter? You will be getting appointment letter which is signed by the president only. Okay. And who can remove you? Only the president can remove you. Okay. So that is the constitutional protection that you are getting once you become All India Service Officers. Under which article? Article 312. We'll come to that. So he's appointed by the president and may be removed by the president on the ground of proved misbehavior. Okay, on the ground of proved misbehavior. How is it done? What procedure? Incapacity also. Incapacity that may be applicable in all the cases, so there is no need to discuss. Proved misbehavior, and the manner should be similar to that of the Supreme Court judge. The way Supreme Court judge is removed, exactly in the similar manner, the procedure is followed. Impeachment of president, vice presidents, we have discussed. The manner in which the Supreme Court, High Court judges will be removed, we will discuss in the chapter of judiciary. Very difficult process. In fact, it will be impossible to remove the judges. Okay. That means like both the houses of the parliament, you have to pass this resolution with special majority. Special majority means what? 2/3 of majority. Then absolute majority. Absolute majority means what? I've told you absolute majority will come along with the special majority only normally. What is that? Absolute majority means more than half of the seats. Okay. So that is how you can remove. But just write this only. He will be removed by the president on the ground of proved misbehavior, similar to that of the similar manner or procedure as that of the Supreme Court judges. Guys, we'll discuss that in detail later. But if you want to, you can write in margin like in parliament, both the houses of parliament, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha has to pass the resolution separately with the special majority and absolute majority. That means 2/3 of the majority and more than half of the seats as well. Okay, so who gives him the oath? The president. He takes oath before the president. As per which schedule? Oath will come in which schedule? 3, schedule 3. Okay. Okay, now the common things, the salary, the allowances which are given to him cannot be changed against him. You cannot change once it is appointed. Okay, you cannot change that against him, or in his disadvantageous position, you cannot do that. And it will be charged from the Consolidated Fund of India. Okay. Salary is equal to the salary of the Supreme Court judge. Salary equal to the Supreme Court judge. And his condition of service. When it comes to condition of service, it will be similar to the rules are applicable, similar to the IAS officer of the rank of secretary. The conditions of service, the rules which are similar to the IAS officer of the rank of secretary. Okay. Now, can he take any other government, positions after the retirement? No. Okay. So he is basically disqualified from being appointed under the union or state government. So after retirement, he is disqualified from being appointed under union or the state. Okay. So that's enough. So who's appointing him? President appoint him and holds office until the age of 65 or 6 years, whichever is earlier. 65 or 6 years, whichever is earlier. Okay, now we will start with Parliament. Give a heading, Parliament. Just write 2-3 lines and then we will have the discussion. This Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, everybody know that, but just as a formality anyway, I'll discuss that. So who passed the laws? Parliament passed the laws, just right? Pass the laws. What is the other role of Parliament? Contribute the members of COM, right? COM can come only from the legislature or from the Parliament, right? So COM is the executive, main executive, headed by the Prime Minister. So that is coming from legislature. I've told you, executive is the baby of legislature in the parliamentary setup, that the setup that we are following. So judiciary is separate, right? So there is an independent judiciary which is totally independent from executive as well as legislature. Now here executive can implement any of its decision and can pass the law because executive enjoys the majority in the legislature. Okay, so executive is coming from the legislature and they are the council of ministers or they are the PM or they form the government just because they enjoy the majority, so they can in fact pass the laws and everything. But that's not the case with US, right? I've told you, executive, legislative, judiciary, all are separate. Okay, complete separation of power. Here this is common. Judiciary is independent. And why independent judiciary is required? You know that. Okay. Okay, now what is the most important role of Parliament otherwise? Again, Article 368, this is one of the most important one because of this only, who can amend the Constitution? Parliament can amend the Constitution. Why amendment is required? Because the system is changing, the society is changing, people's aspirations are changing. So the Constitution should not be a static document. It has to be a evolving, living document, right? It has to be organismic. So it should also keep on changing based on the aspirations of the people, and Parliament make that possibility. Okay, so that is also one of the most important function of Parliament. So write these, pass the laws, give the Council of Ministers, and then amend the Constitution, make it live. This is the most important function of Parliament. Apart from that, Council of Ministers is again very important function. Okay, now Rajya Sabha. Bracket you write Council of States. Lok Sabha, House of People. So Council of States. How many members? 245, out of which 233 elected and 12 nominated. Okay, who's nominating? President nominating. Earlier, the original constitution had the provision of 238, but it has been fixed as 233. This is not important anyway. So total 245, out of which 12 are nominated, 233 are elected. Write one line. It is a representative body of states. It is a representative body of states. What is the tenure? 6 years. Okay. With 6 years tenure. In such a way that after every 2 years, 1/3 of the MPs retire. So every 2 years, 1/3 will retire. So new members will come. 1/3 will be replaced with another 1/3, another same numbers, right? So they will hold for 6 years. Maybe if you want, you can write this. Constitution prescribed for maximum of 238 elected MPs. Constitution prescribed for maximum of 238 elected MPs. Parliament has fixed the strength of Rajya Sabha to 233 elected and 12 nominated MPs. Is there any MP from UTs? UTs means from where the MPs can come, if at all they are coming. It can come from Delhi and Puducherry. So how many from Delhi? 3 from Delhi and one from Puducherry. Okay, so guys, these MPs are generally elected by the elected members of state legislature. Okay, so state legislative assembly. So since Delhi and Puducherry have state legislative assembly, they can contribute Rajya Sabha MP also to the parliament. So how many MPs are there from UTs? Total 4, 3 from Delhi and 1 from Puducherry. Okay, so if 4 are from UTs, how many will be from states? 229. Election, you can write the members of Rajya Sabha are elected by elected members of state legislative assembly. Elected members of state legislative assembly by the system of proportional representation. By the system of proportional representation and by means of single transferable vote system. Yeah, yesterday somebody was asking about this proportional representation, right? So I'll explain that. Proportional representation and by means of single transferable vote. Single transferable vote, I hope you know, we have discussed about that in the case of president. There also I've told you proportional representation based on, from different states, right? So it is different proportions and from the different state contribution is there. So that is what you can understand as proportional representation. So what is this first past post system? Like if there is a single constituency, okay, single member constituency, like this is a constituency X, and how many members can be elected to Lok Sabha here from here? 1 member. So you can say consider it a single member constituency. Okay. So when I talk about single member constituency, how many are contesting election? Like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and many duplicate candidates. So many will contest election, right? So here, let's suppose there are these 4 are contesting election, or all these are contesting election. Now this guy is getting, let's say, 32% vote. This guy is getting 25% vote. This guy is getting 20% vote. This guy is getting 10% vote. Okay. This guy is getting, like, now all these getting 13% vote. Now who will win here? This person who got 32% won this. Okay, so this is what first past the post system. The person who's getting maximum will win. It is not necessary that he's supposed to get this 50%. But what we have discussed in the context of the election of president, I've told you there will be a quota which is fixed, and that when there are 2, mainly this 50% quota is there, and those who pass that 50% quota will be elected. But that's not the case here. Here, first past post means even if you are not getting 50%, you will be elected. So 32% still you will be elected, right? But is he representing the majority? Definitely no, right? What is the majority here? 68% is the majority. So 68% voters going against him, but still he win. Now imagine a situation like, exactly, guys, this happened recently in Kerala. What happened is, in Panchayat election, one guy got elected. So he hardly got around 28% or something. That means out of the total voters, 28% voted for him, and he won the election. And after winning the election, he made some controversial speech. He said, those who didn't vote for me, don't come to me for any help. What does that mean? He will only help and he will represent only this 28% and not the rest of the 72%. And this is the problem with the system. It is not like total representation. Okay, so here it is based on individuals contest election and people will vote for the individual. Now this is what we in India in Lok Sabha assembly and all we follow. Rajya Sabha, the other one, and election of president and all, we have discussed about proportional representation. But otherwise, if you see certain states, if you see certain countries like Israel and all, Ireland, Israel, they follow the proportional representation. There it's like this only. People will be voting for the party, not for the individual candidate, right? So it's like if you're getting 32% vote, you will be given 32% seats. Okay, so based on the votes that you're getting, that much seats will be given. That is what proportional representation when it comes to the normal situation. Here also, if you're getting 25%, that party will be getting 25% of the seats. So here the votes are for the party, and that many seats will be given to the party. But here that's not the case. Even if you are getting lesser votes, still you may get more seats. Guys, if you see, when did you get maximum? When was the party who got maximum votes in a normal this parliamentary election? It was in after the death of Indira Gandhi, right? In 1983-84. So around 84, around 48% of the. Even then, not even half. No, not in Madhya Pradesh. I'm talking at the union level. Okay, so even then, even after that sentiments, Congress was able to get around 48% only. Okay, that means 52 is against the Congress, even during that time. Okay, but Congress got around 4 out of 5. Guys, around 415, 4, that much seats they got that time. Okay, so what I'm saying is, again, if you look into this NDA during 2014, they got around 38% of the vote only, 38 or 38.5 or 39, around this only. And they got around 320, 330, near to that seats they got. So the point here is, even if you're getting lesser votes, the chances are getting more seats are out of 5, you're getting 4 seats. That's so high, despite getting only 48%. So what is 4 out of 5 means? It's 80%, right? 80% seats you're getting, but what percentage votes you're getting? 48%. But that will not be the case when it comes to proportional representation. You will be given 48% of the seats only. Okay, so that's the main difference. Single transferable, anyway, I've told you. Okay, now we are talking about what? Rajya Sabha MP. Guys, write the qualifications of Rajya Sabha MP. He should be a citizen of India. Just quickly write citizen of India. 30 years, registered voter in any of the Lok Sabha constituency, no office of profit. Okay, and then who will conduct the election? It is the Election Commission of India. Okay, now one important discussion that we need to do here is how this is ensuring federalism. Rajya Sabha is ensuring or strengthening federalism. Just write a question here: how Rajya Sabha strengthen federalism or federal setup or federal features of Rajya Sabha? Just write the heading. Okay, first point, right? Rajya Sabha represent the interest of the state at union level. Rajya Sabha represent the interest of the state at union level. It can prevent some effects from coming over to the states. It can prevent some effects from coming over to the state. See, guys, I mean to say that Lok Sabha or the government is taking some decision which is going to impact the state. So I mean to say here that Rajya Sabha can prevent that impact will come to the state. What is the example? Like if you see national emergency or president rule or even financial emergency, all these have implication on state. So if Rajya Sabha decides, Rajya Sabha can prevent that. Okay, so that's what I mean to say. If you want, you can write in as an example all the 3 forms of emergency. All the 3 forms of emergency under Article 352 plus 4, 356 plus 4, 360. Right, that is enough. I hope you'll understand. Exactly the opposite is also possible. Rajya Sabha can bring some effects on states as well. What are they? Can anyone tell me? I have discussed this very clearly and categorically, and I've mentioned the articles also when I've discussed about the federal features, right? Or the federal setup in the initial lectures. What are they? What is this? Can anyone tell me under Article 249 what Rajya Sabha can do? What is the power to Rajya Sabha? Yes, upon national interest, Rajya Sabha can pass a resolution and can give permission, can ask the parliament to legislate upon the state subjects. Even the state list will be legislated by the state only, but upon national interest, Rajya Sabha can pass a resolution and can ask the parliament to legislate upon the state list under Article 249. It should be of national interest. So that means it can make an impact or can impose an effect on the state as well. Okay, guys, again, what about 312? Something related to states or the federal feature I have discussed under Article 312.
All India services.
Yeah, Rajya Sabha can again pass resolution. Okay, so Rajya Sabha can authorize the parliament to create new all India services. Although appointment and all is done by the center and the disciplinary action and everything is by the center, but they play a very important role in the between the center and state. They work at the state level, right? So all India services. Again, what about 368? Any constitutional amendment which is to be brought in, you need special majority from the Rajya Sabha also. Write these 3 articles over there. Under where I've told you Rajya Sabha can bring some impact or can bring some effect over the states as okay. Similarly, you can write these points. Equal roles in the election of president, election and impeachment of president. Right, election, same. Impeachment also. Either it can originate in Lok Sabha or it can originate in Rajya Sabha. Same role. Okay. What about money bill? Money bill, not much power, no power in fact. You can write ordinary bill. It is almost having the same status of Lok Sabha. Equal powers as that of Lok Sabha. With respect to ordinary bills. Okay, all these indicate the spirit of federalism. All these indicate the spirit of federalism. Now, what about the non-federal features? Right, Rajya Sabha cannot punish the executive. Rajya Sabha cannot punish the executive regarding money bill, vote of thanks, no confidence motion, right? No confidence motion and all, only Lok Sabha, etc. Rajya Sabha has lesser power.
Even in joint sitting also, only simple majority is required.
That is what I've
there is
written,
no
etc. Is there. So other elements also there. You can say even in joint sitting also the speaker will preside over the joint sitting, not the chairman of Rajya Sabha. There are many other areas where they are unequal. Okay, but here we are mainly talking about the non-federal features. So all these will come. That is also non-federal feature because something which is affecting the states, Rajya Sabha should be given importance, or you can say that here importance is given to Lok Sabha. That is what non-federal feature. One more line, we are saying that it is state representation, but adequately and equally not represented, right? Where the population is more, they are getting more say, like UP is getting more say than Sikkim or Kerala. That is also one point which you can mention. States are not represented in Rajya Sabha on the basis of principle of equality. Okay, that means what? The states with more population will have more voice in Rajya Sabha. Means it is represented on the basis of population. Okay. Similarly, when I talk about Rajya Sabha, we have told you, we have discussed that 233 are elected, but there are 12 which is nominated. Now, who's nominating? The president is nominating. Who's telling or who's actually advising the president to nominate these members? Even though they have this arts, science, literature background is there, but who's advising? It is a Council of Ministers. So these 12 members are coming with the advice of Council of Ministers. So that is also one point you can mention there. Okay. Similarly, I have told you there are 4 members which are coming from UTs. So they are not like states, right? Yeah. They are not like states. UTs are again part of the center. So there is no federal relationship actually when UTs are given. So this 12 and this 4 you can discuss. Rajya Sabha. Okay, now the chairman. Who's the chairman of Rajya Sabha? When I discussed about vice president, I've told you he is the ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. Okay, so whoever will be the vice president will be the ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. Okay, so because he is vice president, he will automatically become the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Who will preside over the meetings or the proceedings? It is the chairman. Okay, so the vice president. What about his vote? Can he cast vote in the first instance? He does not cast his vote in the first instance. However, if there is a tie or equality, then he can take the final say. Okay, that is what you call as casting vote, not veto, casting vote. Guys, even when you discuss about 1773, the regulating act, Governor General of Bengal, plus there will be 4 members, right? So here also, there will be a casting vote which was given to, not in 1773, 1784, after the Pitt's India Act, then Governor General plus 3. So here there may be a possibility of equality. Once the equality is there, the casting vote is given to the Governor General. Like that here, but one point, what is the difference? Here the Governor General of Bengal can vote at the first instance, and even in the case of tie also, effectively he is getting 2. But when it comes to here, he don't vote in the first instance, but if there is a tie, he will vote, and that is a casting vote. Okay. Why this? What is the logic of this? Why he is not voting at the first instance? Because that will make sure that he's neutral in the proceedings. Okay, like that. What about deputy chairman? Not a member means I didn't understood. He is not a member because of that. Okay. Yeah. Deputy chairman, how is selected? Not selected, elected from the amongst the members. Okay. Amongst the members, he will be elected, and in the absence of chairman, he will preside over the meeting. Okay. Regarding the removal of vice president, we have discussed already in the chapter of vice president, like how he can be removed. What about the removal of deputy chairman? 14 days notice to be given. Okay. And he can be removed by effective majority of Rajya Sabha after giving 14 days notice. But in the context of chairman, we have discussed first Rajya Sabha, then Lok Sabha need to approve it with simple majority. But here, deputy chairman, 14-day notice and effective majority, you can remove it because he is actually elected amongst its members itself. Okay, now, what is the necessity of Rajya Sabha? Mainly federal setup. It is very important. It is a constitutional necessity. Okay, right. The relevance of Rajya Sabha. In a parliamentary form or in a federal setup, upper house of the federal legislature, upper house is a constitutional necessity because there is a need to provide an institutionalized form of representation for the state. Otherwise, state representation will not be there. Institutionalized form of representation to the state in a federal setup. Okay. Now, there may be discussions, or we know we have already discussed in some cases, Lok Sabha enjoy power, like in case of money bill, like that, in joint sittings, etc. I will discuss more when we discuss about Lok Sabha also. If at all Lok Sabha is enjoying some power more than Rajya Sabha, it may be because, or you can tell in this way, It is because the Lok Sabha is directly elected. So that is one of the reason why Lok Sabha is getting more power, right? You can, if you want, you can mention that. Okay, Lok Sabha, since it is directly elected, enjoys some extra power from Rajya Sabha. Also, this Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to Lok Sabha. The main role of Rajya Sabha is it prevents the Lok Sabha from taking some hasty, fast, quicker, illogical decisions. Because at least in ordinary bills and important legislations, you need to, except in money bills, you need the support, or the Rajya Sabha also need to be passing, right? Similarly, the 12 members are coming from arts, science, literature, social service. So these experts can be part of the ministries as well. Okay. So Rajya Sabha provides an opportunity for members with experience in these areas to be part of the Council of Ministers. What is the other relevance or necessity? Regarding constitutional amendment, okay, so any constitutional amendment bill must be approved by the Rajya Sabha. Similarly, all types of emergency, national emergency, financial emergency, state emergency, or the president rule also must be approved by Rajya Sabha. And what is the most important? How can you conclude this, the relevance? Guys, if we talk about Lok Sabha, whatever government says, why the government is in power? Already this Council of Ministers are there. They enjoy the majority in Lok Sabha. So ultimately, the executive can take any action. They can come up with any legislation because they already enjoy the majority. So Lok Sabha is not, you cannot say Lok Sabha is always fair and impartial. It may go with the wishes of the government itself. But Rajya Sabha, on the other hand, you can say, it is not necessarily going with the wishes of the government. It can be, or it to an extent, it will be fair, neutral, impartial. You can say in that way. Okay, guys, all these points you can write in your own language so that you don't want to read Lakshmikant completely. All these facts only you need to update from the Lakshmikant, whatever I'm missing. But from main's point of view, these are some lines which need to be there in your answer. Okay, so when we discuss in paper, in theory, we say Rajya Sabha only exercise some moral control. But is that the case really? No, actually, Rajya Sabha is to some extent can have more control than the Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha actually have no control, right? Even then, even when you can say Lok Sabha can punish in terms of no confidence motion, already they are enjoying the majority, right? So there is no point in no confidence motion or any punishment that you're talking about. No point. Actually, Rajya Sabha can stop passing some legislation, can stop hasty implementation of something, whether it is national emergency or passing any laws, okay, like that. But Lok Sabha will go with the decisions of the government mostly, especially if the government is with majority. Then Lok Sabha will only go with the government wish. So that is how you can conclude the relevance of Rajya Sabha. Just have some idea, all of you know this. What we'll do tomorrow, we'll discuss about we will discuss about Lok Sabha and the continuation part.